What's up, everybody? It's your favorite. Let's drop this puppy in the fourth quarter and get them Christmas bucks, favorite nerd. And today we are looking at the Fanstoys Sixshot, or as they call him, Hydra, which is relatively clever and such. I bought this from the toy guy. He's a new third-party distributor. He's been good to me so far. Good prices, good customer service, good shipping, etc. A link to his contact info will be in the description. Hit him up, tell him Skully sent you. And now on to this guy. So, there's a lot of rumors starting to circulate about potential issues with this fella. And a lot of those issues seem to be perpetuated by going through the transformation. So I'm gonna go through the transformation for the first time while doing this review. That way we can take a look at the figure before and after and see if those rumors play out to be true in my experience. Also, this thing's got 6 modes. I know you guys want to see what I think about this fella, so this will help get it to you faster. So in typical fashion, he comes with a few accessories. Let's take a look at him. He comes with a swap out chest piece. It lacks the sculpted details that are in the side, and then the bottom pieces, probably more tune accurate, I would imagine. All the sculpted stuff on the inside. It is painted nicely. I'm gonna go with the one that he has on stock because I like a little extra bells and whistles with my look. He comes with 2 of his signature guns. The handles do fold up to reveal a peg to plug into certain places, and then they flip down as well so that he can hold them. And it is sculpted nicely, and it is painted silver. And he holds it just fine using your standard Masterpiece plug-in to the palm of the hand method. You can peg your guns in, kind of sort of to the tabs in wolf mode. And the guns will plug into the wings on jet mode. In car mode, you can utilize those same tabs. In tank mode, the guns can plug in using the square tabs on both sides. Once again, you can tab in your guns to the pegs on the leg for gun mode. He comes with 2 swords. They plug in together, and you of course can separate them. It's a little taut connection, so be cautious. People always ask what this tool is that I use. It's called a spudger, I think. And I got it from the Realm of Collectors rock box, but I'm sure you can find it just about anywhere. And the Realm might have a few left, so you can look them up on Facebook and find out. Anyway, this is the swords. They're painted silver. They look nice enough, sculpted well enough, and he holds them just fine using the same plug-in method. You can also store one on his back while he's in robot mode using this peg here, and you can plug the other one in there. Also, a little fun fact about the swords, or swords rather, they're magnetized, which is nice. I haven't been able to find a way to utilize it, to the robot at all, but I guess that's nice. And then also you can interlock them together, but you are going to damage the paint into like a giant sword staff. Oh no, I didn't damage the paint at all, but there it is. And then gimmick-wise, aside from that whole 6 modes bit, you can move the chest down, pull these side wings out, and then cover them back up. And I do like how they did that. That does look pretty cool. All right, so let's talk about the figure. And he's a big fella, so we're gonna go kind of section by section here. So the head, not painted, which is a bummer. It does make the head look a little on the, just not on the same caliber that a lot of the rest of the piece looks. It's a bummer. The eyes are painted metallic red, and that looks nice. It is on a hinge swivel, so you get up there, which is nice, down to there, and then the swivel. All of that works perfectly. The wings, of course, are articulated. You can move them to the side. You can, fold them down if you'd prefer. All of those things are possible, as you'd expect with a 6-shot figure. We have the chest, which is painted beautifully. The turquoise looks great. Like, the gunmetal looks great. The little metallic blue down in the pelvis. All of the paint on this figure where it is applied looks tremendous. You have a waist swivel. It's ratcheted. You get 1 click forward on both sides. Now you can probably manipulate some of this in order to get a little bit more, perhaps, but let's see if I can use a half crunch stick. But I don't know. Either way, I think it's enough. I don't need a full waist swivel, honestly. You just need like just about that much in order to kind of get the job done. Anything beyond this looks exaggerated anyway. So it is a little limiting, but it's not a big deal for me. Ab crunch, pretty great range there, no issues. The shoulders are actually pretty interesting. So they're ratcheted here at a hinge, and then inside you have a double hinge. So you can use both to get yourself like a butterfly joint. It's not the prettiest, but you can get it to work. And that goes for forward and backward. So that's all well done. You can also get the arm out to just shy of 90 degrees, probably 45 degrees, honestly. But this figure, you know, it has those potential issues. Let's see if we fold that out. Oh, that out, you can get almost just shy of 90 degrees. So I think by using this double hinge here, you're going to be able to manipulate the arms in terms of the shoulders any which way you want to kind of get it around. And of course, it swivels on a ratcheted hinge all the way around. If I don't show it, people will be like, he didn't show it. He didn't show it, so it's not real. Bicep swivel, that works well. Double hinged elbow that's hidden very well. It's ugly, but the joint itself is well hidden in relaxed poses and stuff, so I like that. Rubber wheels, we have the turquoise paint here. This white, I don't think is painted. I think it's just a plastic. A lot of sculpted detail on the insides of it and stuff, though. We'll talk about that as we go through, but there's a lot of love here. And then we have the rubber wheels down here and some die-cast stuff there. Wrist swivel. The fingers, actually it's a little, I wonder if it's a little blocked, but the thumb is on a ball peg here and then a hinge. And so you should be able to swivel it and hinge it any which way you want. And then the fingers are all individually articulated. They're pinned. So you should be able to get those any which way you want as well. They're pinned at 2 knuckles. I don't think you'd want much more. So no issues. For the waist, we have hip flaps that we can get out of the way to reveal universal joints that are frictioned out to the side for the full Monty and ratcheted forward for the full Van Damme. These knees are one of the things that we're hearing issues about, so we're going to watch those as we go. Back, not so much, but that's okay. You need the forward movement, not the back movement. And there is a little bit of a fit and finish issue here. You kind of got to manipulate these two properly or you're going to scratch them against one another. But good articulation. Thigh swivel, little tight, but no squeaks. No squeaks on this fella anywhere that I've found. And then we have the knees. So the knees are on a soft ratchet, and I'm going to try at the end to tighten this screw and see if it makes a difference. But the soft ratchet gets you out about 90 degrees. It's not the best though. Like the ratchet is just not, it wasn't the right choice. I mean, a ratchet was the right choice, but these specific ones are not the right choice. You also get a swivel below the knee. This one's done a little bit better. As you can see, that one gets the range a bit better. This one is trash. And then we have the legs. We have purple, which looks like it might be painted. It's hard to tell. It might just be the plastic. Either way, it looks good. And then we have the translucent there, some silver paint accents here. Now, the feet, unfortunately, are an issue. Or should I say the feet. So we get we get a toe tilt down, no ankle tilt, and up. And then you get an ankle rocker, but it's extremely limited, which sucks. That's a real bummer. They are die cast and they are painted and they look nice. You just don't get much out of them. So you're going to be pretty much stuck to a pretty stoic pose in order to pull off the look. I mean, you can get to a wide A stance, but you're going much beyond that and it's going to start to look like he's walking on the inside of his feet, like he should see a foot doctor because he's got a problem, if you know what I'm saying. And there he is from the back, and I'm QC31 again. I get 31 all the time. Size comparison wise, there he is next to the MMC version. There he is with Galvatron. I love how they scale together. And Galvatron's looking a little bigger in the camera because he's a little bit in front, but I love how they look together. And there he is next to Ultra Magnus, and maybe something's a little off there. I gotta double check that. Let's get him transformed. Take the wings and fold them to the back. And once you do so, you can lay them down to the side. Open up this and bring the wolf head out. And I might need to use a little tool in order to open up this flap and rotate your robot head in. Then you can close this and you can bring the head all the way forward. On the opposite side, you'll need to undo this to make sure that it's pegged in properly to the bottom of the wolf head, and then you can close your canopy back up. Open up the shoulder. There's 2 pieces here. So you want to reveal this inner piece. The tire you can flip up and rotate out, and then it sticks up inside of this cavity. and then you can close the one piece and close the second. At the bottom, you want to lift out this forearm panel. It is a tight connection, but there it is. Flip in the hand, close the connection, and flip down your paws, your dog paws, and then spin them around. Round 2. Open this up, and then open this up. Come on, girl. You want to open up. There it is. And then get your tire out, spin it around, put it inside of this space here. Close up. Close up. On the forearm, once again, we're going to use something because it's a little bit of a tight connection. There. Fist in, close the flap. On the opposite side of the forearm, you want to bring down your paws, dog paws, and then spin them around here. On the bottom of your feet, flip up the heels, and then flip up the feet. Turn the thighs at the thigh swivel so that the front of the legs are facing one another. And then you want to extend the knees. Then rotate at the bottom of the knee so that your back of your legs is once again towards the back of the figure, and then you can move them both to the side. We're going to open this piece here, fold this panel back onto itself, and on the inside, if you can see, there's 2 flaps here. We're gonna take the flap that's furthest from, tuck it back on top, and then straighten that piece out. We also need to get this whole assembly here out. Once you have this out of the way, that will be significantly easier. And then rotate at this hinge to get all this piece out. This is loose also, where this purple piece goes, and it looks like I can just tighten that screw and fix that problem, but I'm just pointing it out. So let's go ahead and do that on the other side. We're gonna take this piece, fold it onto itself. We're going to take our foot flap, we're gonna fold this furthest piece from back on top, straighten it out, take out this section, untab it from the knee assembly, and get it out of the way. At this point, you need to break this connection, and you need to lift this piece there. So move it down, and it's tight. That's basically the dog knee. And then rotate this piece around 180, and then bring this piece down towards the bottom of the foot, and bring out your lower paws, dog paws, so that they are out, and then you can close this back up. Let's try to make that a little smoother on the other side. You have to lift off this panel off of a tab that's sitting right there. Once you do so, you should be able to maneuver the elbow piece of the animal down, at which point you can rotate this intersection here 180, push this piece down, which is what keeps it really in place, and then fold that on top, and then put down your dog paws, your paws. This purple block is sitting in line with the black, right? With this black piece. It needs to come around to the side while the silver parts stay sort of natural. So bring it around to the side, and then rotate the silver parts back around. We'll show that again. It's hard to explain, but we're trying to get this block off to the side, and then rotate on these silver arms here and here down. And it is a pain to maneuver. There it is. Then you want to take this assembly, plug this back into the metal piece, and this comes back around and covers down on that joint. And then the whole piece slides through. All right, I'm gonna try to show it the best I can. It is tricky. Get this metal tab into this frame piece here. Rotate the knee down and then slide it in. Now you need to position the legs sort of at an upward angle so that you can take this butt flap and use these 2 pegs, which also hold the swords, and plug them in to the thighs. And it's just a matter of getting it all lined up. And then you can tighten up the leg positions of the wolf. And there's wolf mode, and it's fine. The head is on a double hinge here and here, so you get a little bit of movement out of it. Not a whole lot though, honestly. And then the mouth opens up a bit as well, which is nice. You have the red metallic paint on the eyes. That white plastic, it does look a little plain in comparison to a lot of the other, you know, decos that this guy has. The toes create an ankle rocker better than the robot, so that's nice. And they look nice with that chrome, or like, it's not chrome, it's just metal, just polished metal. But it looks good. And then you have the same arm articulation. The legs, you lose all the hip, but you do get the ab crunch still, which is nice. And then for the legs, you get the little bit of bend, really, but they're pretty much locked in place, honestly. And, you know, I always kind of say the same thing when it comes to these six changers, like, you know, E for effort. You know, I feel like they all kind of do a fine job, basically, of what they're trying to do, but rarely does anything really blow me away, so to speak. Tiger tracks. All right, next, rotate these to the inside. Bring your paws, dog paws, back round, spin them 180, tuck them back into place, and you're gonna want to do that on both sides of both paws, dog paws. Open up your canopy, or can of peas, and then untab the wolf head from the front chest so that you can tuck it back inside of the canopy. Untab your butt flap, and you can put that back in position. Do what you can to get this piece up and out of the way. This purple piece here, it can be a bit of a bear. Untab it from the metal frame. Come down to your lower leg, open this up, unfurl your flap here. You can open up these two white rails. You can rotate, tuck in your paws, your dog paws, and then rotate this piece again, 180. You can leave that out, and now you have to connect this back to here how it was, which is a bit of a bear, but as you can see, easily doable. And then you need to sort out this purple piece again. So it needs to come down and straight, and then you can collapse. So let's do that again. Straighten this out a bit. That'll help you get this purple piece out of the way, and then untab it from the bar. Be careful, because there's a lot of purple to have torque, so to speak. So open that up. Down here, you want to uncheck this, unfurl that, tuck in your paws, your dog paws. Down here at the bottom, you have to open up this flap as well. I'm not sure if I did that on the other side. If I didn't, I'll fix that off camera. And then rotate this piece 180, and then you want to bring it back and tab it in to the top of this piece, which is doable, but you have to kind of bend the frame of the figure, which doesn't give you good feels. Down at the bottom, straighten out that purple piece and collapse your knee. At this point, rotate at the thigh so that the nose cone is sitting at the front of the figure on both sides. Fold in this piece here. Rotate at the bottom of the metal bars to encapsulate the upper thigh. And then on the opposite side, bring this around to plug it in. Bring your nose cone around. Bring this piece around, and you want to rotate this out, and there's a little tab here that'll tab into the front of the purple piece. Bring this piece in and around. Rotate at the bottom of the silver bars to encapsulate the upper thigh, at which point you can bring your flap back around and tab it in. Bring your nose cone around. Rotate this piece up and tab it in to the nose cone. And now for a bit of self-gratification and rewarding, we can tab these together. I saved this as far last as I can because it just makes me a little nervous, these little thin plastic pieces. And you do have to move these around this thing a bit, it should be noted. Plug that back in, you got your wings out. Untab your shoulders from these purple pieces that are plugged into the chest. Rotate the arms around to the opposite side. And then you want to bring up your shoulder joint that gets us all that extra articulation up and to the top. And then these pieces come down and lock in to the side there. Then on this side, just make sure that these black pieces that hold the wings are down, and then rotate the wings, you know, out to the side, or, you know, wherever you want them. I think you're supposed to have them out to the side like this, but, you know, it's your toy. You can do whatever you want with it, bro. And there's jet mode, and this is one of the modes that ends up usually looking one of the best. I will say I wish that something about this upper body doesn't look finished to me. But, you know, once again, it's kind of an E for effort kind of a thing. It is one of the better looking modes, but I wouldn't say it's phenomenal by any means, but I don't know if any of them ever are. There's Tiger Tracks. There's a big beefy fella. I do like all the wings and guns and stuff. I do think that looks cool, but I don't know, man. It's, you know, we just kind of go through this because we have to, honestly. The modes for Sixshot never really impressed me, but there's a look at what it looks like. So we're going to open up the chest. We're going to put these wings away. I always do that first and foremost. Once again, thinner plastic makes me feel a little bit better when they're tucked away safely. You can get these wings out of the way so that you can rotate your arms down and spin the tires to the opposite side now. So arms down, tires to the opposite side. Split your legs. On this side, you want to rotate, untab it from this black piece, rotate it to the inside. And then you want to bring this piece out there so that that's all lined up appropriately. Open this flap up here. This piece has to spin around to form kind of the headlight, and you can close that flap up. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Just bring this out, bring this one around. Is that too dark? Fold this piece out. That one went much better. Open this flap. Twist out your headlight. And then tab it back together. Undo this tab here, which will allow you to slide this piece down and over. And then you can actually go ahead and tab that back in. At which point you want to open up all this again that we did initially. And it's right here. And then bring out your wheel, which is, good grief, tight. Bring this around. You want to tab it into there and there. This will collapse to kind of fill in that spot, and then you can close all this up. So we're going to do that on this side as well. We're going to open this up. We're going to open this up. We're going to untab this. We're going to bring this down, and we're going to spin it over top, and then we're going to tab it back in, and then we're going to get something to pry this tire out. Bring the tire down, line it up, collapse it so that it goes into place. Close this, close this. Now there's a series of 2 pegs on each side that's signed with 2 holes, and just maneuver it so that it's in spot and collapse it. And then bring your black wings down and then your teal wings forward. I'll get them cleaned up, we'll take a look at them. And there it is, it rolls. The wheels, I may not have everything lined up 100% right, but the wheels aren't rolling perfectly well, but as you can see, they will roll. I think that this, you know, it's just turns into a box, really, right? And it's only because it has translucent glass here that it looks like car, but that's not necessarily Fanstoys' fault as much as it is just, you know, the design of the character in the car and such. But I think it's ultimately, once again, it's fine, you know? And then there it is with Tiger Tracks. Separate this from these pegs because the pegs are a little long. They seem durable, but I'm not sure if I see stress marks there or not. We'll take a look at the end. And you can bring this piece out and around just to give you a little bit more kind of access to it. So we're gonna get this up and out of the way. We're gonna get this up and out of the way. Then we're gonna need to open up this small flap right there. There you go. And then push this tank tread out of its little box, so to speak. And you can extend it and don't really worry too much more about it at the moment. Now you can close, no, don't close this yet. So then we need to open up this tire again and stow it away. You're gonna need to bring out that little armature in order to kind of properly maneuver it. And then you can close this up. Bring this piece around to the top and close that. And then your tire goes back down towards the treads. And then this piece here, oh, it's so tight, so to speak. Ooh, good. And you can get so much torque on it. It's very scary. But we need to bring this around there. And I think we can, I don't know if we bring this down. Yeah, I think we bring this down as well. I have to look at the instructions. Like we did before. Yeah, and then that pegs into that peg there. Yep, that's it. We're gonna unpeg this from the side and we're gonna unpeg it carefully. We're gonna disconnect it from the body and then we're going to open up our casings here that we've become fairly familiar with. We can push down on this tab, maybe that will help a little bit. Ugh, I'm not sure if I would do that or not, but you can get this tank track out of that box, as it were, and you need to rotate it around, which is so far the scariest part of this transformation. There it is. Okay. Now, bring your tire out on that little bar. We need to get it back into its home. And then we can close this. We'll bring this piece around to the top and encapsulate that. We'll bring this piece down. We'll spin that around, but we're gonna open up this little piece there as we do so, and then close it back around the top. Let's see what we're doing. There we go. And then this piece tabs into the bottom there, and then your tire rotates around to face towards the tracks. All right, we need to get this front bit back the way it was. So open up, and you want this piece to go back inside here. Open up this flap, spin that back to the inside, close that up. And let's do that on this side as well. Back to the inside. Open your flap here, spin your headlight in, close that back up as well. Open up your two flaps here. And you can kind of open up this as well, because we got to deal with that later anyway. And then extend the legs like it was initially. One thing I didn't mention, make sure that you have the white part of the cock, like the nose cone on the outer side. That'll let you open it up all the way. And then also what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these flaps out now. And these pieces here extend and rotate outward. And we're gonna do that on both sides. We'll bring our flap back in, make sure it pegs into our metal bar. Tuck it inside, so to speak, and then close our flap here. We're gonna do that on this side as well. Tab in, close up, close up. And now we wanna rotate at the thigh so that our nose cone is on the outside. There, all right. Rotate your black part of the wings down, and then you can extend the legs again which will allow you to bring both up and over, and then you tab back together. And then lock in your arms in the front. Some of the engineering is impressive. Some of it is not so much. Some of it feels like clumsy and clunky, but like the arm transformation is pretty elegant, the way it moves between all the modes so far. But yeah, it's I mean, it's more kind of the same, right? Good enough. There's Tiger Tracks. Let's keep it moving. Bring the legs down. On the opposite side, you want the screws in the leg to be facing the top, and the top of the legs to be facing the top. And then you can collapse them again. Let's not break it now in the 9th inning, Bob. And then plug these back in together. Take your wings, bring them out to the side, tuck them on top of one another, and then bring this piece up and over, and this tabs into the translucent, and I just cracked it. I knew it was gonna happen, and I did it. So that is a bummer. Let's mean to hell with it now, right? Might as well just break the shit out of it. But there, roughly. And then you can open up this piece here and bring the trigger out. We gotta put these tank treads away. So let's untab it. Let's untab this, and we'll untab this. And we're gonna bring the wheel out. And we're going to open up this here. I'm sorry, you probably couldn't see that. Let me raise the camera up a little bit. And then we need to rotate this back around and then tuck this back inside. And that was a lot easier to do than the opposite. And then we can close that up. We can close this up, and we can bring this back around and hide the tank treads. Open up, open up, open up, pull out, so to speak. Push down, rotate inwards, fold in and up, close up, come around, cover down. We disconnect at the shoulder again, bring it down, rotate the arm around, once again so that the tire is facing inward. Plug it back in, down, spin around, plug it back in. And then you have your submarine mode. And I think it does its job. Unfortunately, I had to break it to get there. Almost made it through, didn't I? Almost made it through. I think it looks as good as one could. I would probably open up and get those chest wings out if I wanted to keep it in this mode, but who wants to keep it in this mode? I like that the trigger is there. I mean, I think it's fine. You know, I think it's generally fine. I think most of this the modes are kind of generally fine. And then Tiger Tracks. All right, we're back to robot mode, so let's do a knee check. I think it's possible this knee might actually be better. But it's certainly not any worse. And that one's just as good. You know, and I'm pretty heavy-handed, so it might be an individual. Results will vary. It seems like I may have gotten lucky for once in my life and not have an issue as a result of the knees. I am going to tighten them up a bit and see if that makes a difference. All right, so I tighten them up. A little bit better. I mean, it's holding. It wasn't holding before. Let's check the other one. Is that one worse now? Yeah, no, that one's fine. So what I did was I just extended the leg, and I tightened up that screw right there, which is where the knee bends, and it, you know, seems to be fine for me. Final thoughts wise, let's talk about the issues. The paint. I feel like that head needed to be painted. It's a very beautiful figure, but I feel like the head being painted would have really made it a step above. It really would have set it apart. While the materials feel good, some of the parts that you have to transform, especially this little section there, feels a little flimsy and thin in order to kind of maneuver around the figure the way you'd like it to. Obviously, the knee joints could have been better. I am not experiencing the horror stories that I'm hearing about, but even with mine, design that I think are pretty good could have been better. Articulation is pretty great with the exception of the ankle rockers. I don't know why we didn't get ankle rockers on this thing. That's really upsetting. The alt modes are kind of what they are, but that's not really a Fanstoys Hydra issue. That's more of a Transformers TM Sixshot issue. Now, the engineering to get it there, the only part that feels like the bang your head against the wall Fanstoys transformation is getting the legs right for the dog mode. Pause, dog pause. The rest of it actually works really well. So I don't have really too many complaints about the transformation. Obviously, tabbing in large sections of plastic into a translucent piece is problematic. I'm not sure why we're doing that this year. I don't feel like that's been a problem with third party in the past, but this year, all of a sudden, it's happened to me twice, and I've broken both of them. Plenty of positives, though. The sculpt is fantastic per usual. There is a lot of paint on it, and the paint is beautiful per usual. The materials feel great, typical Fanstoys status. The presence is fantastic. The articulation, with the exception of the ankle rockers, is on point. The build and hardware are on point. Cleans up phenomenally well. So yeah, strong recommend from me. Just be mindful of that translucent plastic, and good luck with the knees, because I'm hearing people have issues. I'm not sure if they've tried to tighten them up. I'm not a big tighten them up guy. I kind of feel like it should just come right out of the box correctly, but mine were pretty good, held up during transformation, then I tightened them up for a little extra love at the end. I don't really have any issues, so I can't think of a reason not to get this. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.